Well, of course, we all have heavy hearts today, and it's great loss to Dallas. Many of us, it's great personal loss. But thank goodness, Bill Decker's interest for his staff, which is an excellent staff, and his interest in the county that he loves so, he has trained a man to take his place. And we are grateful to Bill for this.
Sheriff Jones?
I think, as I have said before, that people have not yet really felt the impact of this loss. I know of no finer humanitarian with a great love for all of the people.
The turnkey project is a very nice project. The school situation will improve, the transportation, and maybe there will be shopping centers one day. At present, the statement that the OEO man made about turnkey may be true, but where have OEO been in the last 2 years with the housing problem?
Then are you saying turnkey is better than no program at all?
Definite. And the OEO man said that he had 6 alternatives. Well, our CAP agency would have really loved to get those 6 alternatives 2 years ago, and probably we would needed a turnkey.
Well, in the estimation of the people of the groups you represent, is money being misappropriated?
I couldn't say that. I don't have the books of of no agency, so I couldn't make that statement.
Jim, I wasn't there myself, but from information received through undercover work by the Carrollton Police Department, and with the cooperative efforts from our department as well as many other state and federal agencies, a raid was conducted last night, and understand there were several arrests and good cases were made.
What prompted this raid last night?
This is something that, as I understand, had just been discovered, uncovered by the Carrollton Police Department, and requested our assistance in order to carry it out.
What assistance did the Sheriff's Department play in this?
We helped call in some other agencies, both federal and state, and outline the plan.
Well, from your understanding, what was the layout at the location?
It was setting out in a field surrounded by a fence. I think the furthest fence being approximately 30 feet from the building itself, it almost bordering immediately to its rear by the river, and required a great deal of walking and to get there at nighttime to get set for it.
How can you sneak up on a building in the middle of nowhere in the middle of the night without being heard?
Maybe there's too much noise inside.
Well, it was shortly after 9 o'clock when the boys who had been playing in our backyard came running in to say that Mrs. Travis next door was screaming for help. At that time, I ran out of our house to their house right next door and found Gordon Travis lying in the flower bed out in front of his house, and Mrs. Travis, not hysterical at all, very calmly trying to explain what had happened.
What did happen?
As she described it, she and her husband were in their bedroom, relaxing, watching television, and she heard the front door open and close, believing it to be her son Jim, who had been out playing with our boys. looking up, she saw two men standing in the bedroom, and from that point on, they turned into the fight inside the house, followed by the shooting. Apparently they were there, she said, demanded money, wanted to know where the safe was, and were not interested in anything other than cash, apparently.
Did Mr. Travis struggle with them for a weapon?
Apparently so. As I came into the house, the blood was in the corridor and in the front hallway of the home, so apparently he was struggling with them, and then struggled and traveled outside the front door before he collapsed.
Jim, the functions of the Speaker of America are primarily, number one, to sell America to all Americans. Speakers for America recognize the fact that the greatest tragedy that we have, the greatest destructive things that we are now seeing, is drug abuse.
Now, what exactly does the Speakers of America plan to accomplish during your two-day conference here in Dallas?
Well, this is the first time in the history of the nation that concerned citizens, the decision makers of America, have met to interest other citizens, to point out to them the job that we must do. And Jim, if I may add just one point, this is almost our last chance.
Well, I've been treating heroin addicts with methadone, which is a blockade treatment for heroin addicts. That means it blockades the craving of addicts for heroin.
What is the net effect of methadone? Does it have a habit-forming quality also?
Yes, methadone is also addictive, but it is not so hard to get rid of the habit. Everybody who takes methadone on this program will be temporarily addicted to methadone.
What was it initially for? Is that the primary use for it?
Methadone was captured from the Germans in the Second World War, and it was developed by the Germans as a substitute for morphine, which was not available to the Germans, and it was for pain.
Does methadone also have the accompanying high that you get from heroin or something of that nature?
Well, contrary to some opinions, evidence that the hearing in Austin from the U.S. Public Health Hospital, I don't believe that methadone produces highs. If it does, it is irregularly produced.
So it's not as dangerous in that regard as heroin?
Well, heroin is, and methadone both are pain medications. Of course, there's a euphoria with them, but this is what people are talking about when they mention highs.
The committee and Speaker Mutscher will lay out the program that we have to these business executives and ask their help in loaning us specialists and loan us people from their organizations that have expertise in these fields.
Are you prepared to name some of the executives from Dallas that will be named?
At this time, I'm not. Monday, when we meet, we have left up to the Speaker. This is his committee, and we've left up to him to coordinate in getting the business people there. Now, I anticipate that Monday we'll see 60 to 80 business people from all over the state, and particularly coming from our four largest cities. And we'll know Monday who these are going to be. This is simply an initial meeting. It's open to anyone who is interested in this and who has the facilities within their business to aid us.
Well, Dallas was one of the 22 finalists. Might say that there were 126 entrants into the Municipal League All-American City Contest, and then the National Municipal League narrows it down to 22, and it's a real honor to be one of those 22.
Well, it's being reported in some quarters that Dallas is actually one of the 11.
I have no way of releasing that, or even knowing. I should say that Look Magazine will make that release in time, and my understanding that'll come about March.